13 opponents, 4 modes, 3 circuits, 1 challenger, and only one goal: be the best.
Well, that didn't work.
Whoa there, we can't just jump into a game without a little backstory.
Sure you can.
No, you can't.
Oh, screw you, man. I'm playing game.
Oh, whatever, here's the backstory. Back a year ago, during the crazy days when I wanted to rob the robot, I also got an NES with it. One of the many games included with the NES was the game Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Many months passed afterwards, and the game got buried beneath some other games. When I heard there was a remake on the way, I quickly dug it out and tried it. Now, I'm not a boxing fan, so to my surprise, the game was surprisingly fun. But along with that, really difficult. You'd be disappointed trying to find a more difficult game that I played. Well, except for Mega Man, maybe, but I don't have to explain that. I enjoyed the game because of music, gameplay, and even graphics for its time, so I rushed to Blockbuster to pick up the new one. The music of this game is basically a ton of orchestrated remixes of old themes, which is a very welcome thing in my book. I mean, seriously, the Punch-Out theme is just epic! And with a different version for each fighter, it truly doesn't get all that repetitive. The graphics of this game, which really don't make that much of a difference, are actually pretty good. The game renders everything in cell shading, which reminds me of Wind Waker, but everyone else of No More Heroes. Another thing about the graphics is that the shadows look like a bunch of Legos. No problem with that, though. Graphics aren't that big a deal. Looking through the game, I noticed that not only did I look quite a bit like Lil Mac, but also there are 3 control schemes. The Wiimote and Nunchuck, the Wiimote, Nunchuck, and Balance Board, pattern there, and the Wiimote on its side. I was so happy when I learned that the Wiimote alone had absolutely no motion controls, and there was even a near remake of the old controls. Besides, who wants to use that old motion controls in a Punch-Out game anyway? The one-player mode, known as Career, is based off of 3 different challenges. Minor to World Circuit, which is becoming a champion. Title Defense, which is defending the Riot champion. And Max Last Stand, which is basically PIV 100 Trials. In Minor to World Circuit, which is only what I call it, you punch and uppercut your way through 13 unique opponents, all with different weaknesses, speeds, looks, and even personalities. Yeah, definitely that last one. Okay, since we're on the topic of unique opponents, let's get some things straight. This guy's weak, these guys eat too much, this guy doesn't eat enough, this guy's obsessed with himself, and me and all of my friends are convinced that this one is gay. Progressing through the line of these people is no easy task, as with each new opponent you have to throw the last strategy out of the window and learn new things, or else you're going to get owned. At least there's a restart and quit option. By the time you've beaten the fastest and strongest opponent in the game, get ready for a huge soccer. It sends you rocketing back through time to fight all the people you just beat in the second mode, Title Defense. Everyone in Title Defense is angry that you beat them, and they're ready to beat you up to take the belt. This would be pretty easy if you fought the same people. Oh no, that'd be way too awesome. Instead, they've gotten more powerful with their new grudges, and some even have armor. This even goes for Glass Joe, the weakest, slowest fighter in the game. Since he has protective headgear now, his punches are so slow that they actually make you flinch and dodge before he punches. You can't beat him easily. So even the easiest fighter in the game is now raging with anger and difficulty. When I first played through this game, I beat Mr. Sandman in round 2 via TKO, and then lost to Glass Joe in Title Defense. And at that point in time, the game had reached frustration levels only previously achieved by, well, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Making your way through this line of opponents is an even more difficult task. If you somehow manage to make it to the next opponent, they just have some sort of ZOMGWTF addition to them that makes them much worse. That even goes for Disco Kid, who looks even more gay, provided that was possible. Now, when you finally get through these guys in the lower circuits, Bald Bull of World S Title Defense Circuit is a killer. The only way to knock him out is by hitting him with the Star Punch, which is a special move that can only be obtained by hitting an opponent in a special way. But because they're so hard to get on average, and because they're so easy to lose, KOing him takes a lot of practice. And of course, you have to keep yourself from being knocked down 3 times, which is the KO, even if it's somehow the end of the round for a TKO. Provided that you somehow make it past him, you still have to beat the stronger Sandman again, who's faster and stronger. And I repeated myself, but whatever. After you defeat him, Lil Max wants to retire for some strange reason. I mean, it's not like he's dying or anything. He's just 17. He could do great with his career, but whatever. But after Mr. Sandman the second time, it's off to Max Last Stand mode, the last challenge, which unbelievably is even harder. What happens in this mode is you accept the challenge of random fire picked from the 14 available opponents. Yeah, I said 14. Spoiler alert! Along with the 13 fires you had to get through, you also have to fight Donkey Kong! And he has to be the most difficult fire in the game. Take away what I said about Sandman, DK is the king of KOs. Pun intended. What's even worse about Max Last Stand is that you only have 3 chances, which are better represented as lives. After you lose 3 times, Max retires and you see the ending cutscene and credits, which can only be described as the saddest part of the game. Moving right along, there's an extra bit for the single player mode, Exhibition, which allows you to train against any opponents before you fight them, and even refight them once you've beaten them. These fights also allow you to beat challenges, which unlock music and other extras once you've gotten all of them for one fighter. Right out of the box, one of the cool features of this game is the multiplayer. I've seen a lot of games with multiplayer features that are absolutely no good or resemble nothing of the game, but this is actually a great addition to the game. It puts you and your friend as Lil Max fighting each other. This mode also introduces Gigamac, which is pretty much the Punch-Out equivalent of a Final Smash. The controls are pretty much the same, and with a few alterations here and there. All around, it's good fun. Well, that's all I have to say about the game. Time for some final stats. Graphics, 7.5. Overused cell shading for the win! Music, 8.0. The single remix track is fine for me, but others could find it repetitive. Gameplay, 8.5. No true flaws, but the difficulty is flat out insane. I know people who have given this game up because of the difficulty level. Replay value, 7.0. It's fun to play again and again, but once you've beaten it, there's not much left other than the awesome multiplayer. Overall rating, 8 out of 10. The game has a few flaws, is really fun, and has great multiplayer, unique things, and it's overall a fun experience. Of course, now that I'm done talking about the game, there's not really a good way to end it off, so I'm just going to sit down and play some Punch-Out.
Mac.
Who are you?
I'm Doc Lewis. What look out there, Mac?
My name's not Mac, it's Jesse.
How